So, let us see the important postulates of kinetic theory of matter. Matter is composed of very small particles called atoms and molecules that we already discussed. The second point is the constituent particles of a kind of matter are identical in all respects. That is, a particular kind of matter will be having same constituent particles. So their properties also will be same. Now the third point, the particles of matter will be having spaces or gaps between them, which we already studied as, yes, intermolecular space or interparticular space. Then the fourth point, you know that there exists a force of attraction between the particles of matter. That is what which hold them together. So this force of attraction is known as interparticular or intermolecular force of attraction. The fifth point is the particles of matter are always in a state of random motion. That is, they are always moving in randomly in any direction. So they possess kinetic energy. So since these particles are always in motion, they possess kinetic energy. And this kinetic energy will be increasing with increase in temperature and decreasing with decrease in temperature. These are the important postulates of kinetic theory of matter. Now children, let us see how the states of matter are explained based on kinetic theory. Look at the figure given here. See, you can see the arrangement of particles in solid, liquid and gases. So this image should be, you have to store it in your memory. So based on this, you can give the explanations for solid, liquid and gas. Look at the figure of solid. There you can see that the particles, they are very closely packed. That means there is no intermolecular space between them. And another point which you can say is that there is a strong force of attraction between the particles. So the molecules are not at all free to move about. So they can only vibrate about their positions. So this is the reason why we say that solids are hard and rigid and difficult to compress. So this gives the solid a fixed shape and size. So since the particles here are not moving, we can say that they have low kinetic energy. Now look at the figure of liquid, particle arrangement in liquids. What can you see there? See there, the particles are not so closely packed as in solids. That means you can see there is intermolecular space between them, and also there is intermolecular force of attraction exists, but it is not strong as in solid. So these liquids are more compressible. You can see the molecules there are very loosely packed. That means compressible. That means if we apply pressure, we can compress them. So the particles, another thing you can see there, in particles are able to move about randomly because they have intermolecular space between them. So they possess kinetic energy. Then this makes the liquid to flow and take the shape of the container into which it is poured. So we can say that liquids have fixed volume but no definite shape. Now look at the figure of gas. What is the speciality there? Here the particles are far widely arranged. So there is greater intermolecular space between them, and the force of attraction between particles are very small or negligible. So here, if we apply pressure, we can compress gases very easily. So we say that gases are compressible in nature. Then the force of attraction between the particles are very weak. That means they are able to, or they are free to move about within the entire space available to them. So they have high kinetic energy, and during the motion of this particle they will collide with each other and also with the walls of the container in which they are stored. So we can say that the gases have neither a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. So they completely fill up into the space available to them. If they are stored in a container, these molecules will be always randomly moving about in that whole container. So you can, for example, take the case of LPG gas container. There the LPG gas is liquefied under high pressure and stored inside that container, isn't it? Now, all substances that can flow, we have already discussed that. All substances that can flow are called liquids. So all substances that can flow are called as fluids. So both the liquids and gases come under the category of fluids. Then already these points we have discussed. Here, see the rigidity of, you can see the comparison between gases, liquids and solids here. The solid having fixed volume and shape, and the particles are rigidly locked up in a solid. Then liquid assume the shape of the part of the container in which it is occupied. Then the particles can move or slide past one another there. So now coming to gases, it assumes the shape and volume of its container. That is the difference between liquid and gas. Then particles can move past one another. So as we have seen already, solids are not easily compressible because there is little or no free space available between the particles. That is the reason why they are not compressible. And liquids are more compressible than solids but less compared to gases. That is because little free spaces are available between the particles in the liquid. And in the case of gases, they are far apart. Their particles are lying far apart in the gas in that matter. So we can say they are highly compressible because there is lot of free space available between the particle. Now the last point here, see we can say that the solids does not flow, and in the case of liquids they flow easily because the particles can move. Then gases also, they are free to flow easily because the particles can move. Now let us move on to our next topic, that is interconversion of states of matter. I think you have studied this in your previous class. What do you mean by the term interconversion? That means converting from one form to the another. Let us see the definition. The phenomenon of change of one state of matter into another and then back to the original state without any change in its chemical composition is called interconversion of the states of matter. So the matter is changing from one state to another. The important point to be noted here is that without any change in its chemical composition. So basically that substance will be same substance, only the states will be changing. That is what we call by the term interconversion of the states of matter. What may be the reason behind this interconversion of states of matter? Let us see. The change in the state of matter is caused by either change in temperature or change in pressure. These are the two reasons due to which this interconversion of matter is occurring. Now let us examine in detail one by one. Now let us discuss a familiar example. See, look at the picture. This is very familiar to you. What can you see here? Ice, solid ice is taken in a beaker, and on heating or on, we can see that it is changing into liquid form, that is water. Then if water further heated, you know that it turns into its gaseous state, that is vapor. And if this vapor or this gaseous state of water is cooled back, we will get the liquid state, that is water. Then on further cooling, we will get the solid state, that is ice. This is a very familiar example for you. We know that water exists in ordinary temperature in liquid state. So when it is kept in freezer, it is cooled and changing into ice at 0 degrees Celsius. So if we take that ice and keep in room temperature, again it will be becoming liquid. So this water on heating at 200 degrees Celsius, it will escape out as steam or vapor. So if we cool this vapor back, we will be getting the liquid water. So when we are making tea and all, if you observe, you can see that when a water is boiled in a pan and if it is covered with a lid, you can see water droplets on the lid. That is because when the water boils, it is escaping out as vapor, and that vapor, when it is stuck on this lid, it is cooling back and we are seeing it as water droplets there. You observe at your home if you have not seen it. Then, so another example which we are seeing in daily life is candle wax. So when a candle is burnt, the solid wax will be melting into liquid wax, and if that drop of liquid wax fall on floor or something, it will be cooled back and we are getting that solid wax again. Now this also is an example for the interconversion of state of matter in a candle. Now children, what may be the reason behind these changes of states of matter? Let us try to explain it in terms of kinetic energy. See, when we are heating a substance which is in solid state, see here in our example it is ice. So when we are heating, the particles, heating means we are increasing the temperature of the system. So the particles will be gaining kinetic energy. So when the particles attain or gain kinetic energy, they will start to vibrate, and with the increase in temperature, the energy will be increasing and the vibration also will be vigorous. So gradually at a certain stage, the particles will be having enough kinetic energy to overcome their force of attraction between their particles surrounding them, and they start to move. So when they are starting to move means the closely packed particles are gradually escaping and they are starting to move. That means they are changing from solid state into liquid state. So some intermolecular space exists there, and that is we are seeing it, the ice is changing into water. or liquid state. Then we are again further heating, that means we are giving more and more, increasing the temperature, that means more kinetic energy is acquired by the particle, so they will be having enough strength to overcome the force of attraction between the particles surrounding them. So they will be in random motion, with increased speed. That means their intermolecular space will be increasing, and finally the liquid state of the matter will be changing into gaseous state. So this is what is happening in the interconversion of our example. See, ice to water and water to vapor. You imagine with the picture we have seen about that solid, liquid and gas, the particle arrangement picture we have seen in the previous slide. So comparing with that image, you imagine this conversion, then you will understand it very clearly. So what will be happening when cooling is carried out? Just the opposite is happening. Cooling means we are decreasing the temperature of the system. So when temperature is temperature is decreased, the space between the particles will be decreasing. That means the force of attraction between the particles will be increasing. So this will affect the movement of the particles. That means their movement will be restricted. So gradually from gaseous state they will be changed into liquid state, and on further cooling means their movement will be more restricted. So they will be changing into solid particle. That is, in solid state the particles will be very closely arranged without any intermolecular space. That is what is happening during the cooling of vapor into water and further cooling to get back the ice. Now children, let us see about a special type of interconversion. See, we have seen about the interconversion from solid to liquid state and liquid to gaseous state and vice versa. But in this type of conversion, the substance from solid state are directly converted to gaseous state and vice versa, without passing through the middle liquid state. So this process is known as sublimation, and such substances are called sublimable substance. Can you give me any example which are familiar to you in our daily life? Yes, for example, the naphthalene balls. Naphthalene balls we are using in wardrobes, bathrooms, etc. to drive away the pest-like cockroaches. Have you seen it? So after some days we can see that these naphthalene balls have reduced and become into small pellets, or sometimes they might be disappearing. What is happening here? Here the solid naphthalene, that is a sublimable substance. So directly from solid state they are escaping as gases. That is why we cannot see them after a few days. Then other examples are camphor, iodine, ammonium chloride, dry ice, etc. Here the sublimation of ammonium chloride is given in the picture. We are taking a pinch of white powder of ammonium chloride in a dry test tube. So when it is heated, you can see it directly escaping as white vapor. See the color of the vapor there. So without changing into its liquid state, the vapor will be rising and solidifying on the upper cooler part of the test tube, and this solid we call as sublimate. So this is an example for substance which change its state from solid to gaseous state on heating, and vice versa. Vice versa means just the opposite or back conversion is taking place here.